to UniApp. Thank you and welcome to the course Introduction to Marriage Counseling. I will be studying this course with you. The code under the code CNS 407. My name is Mbi Obed Anthony. I am from Cameroon. So we will be working together through this course, Introduction to Marriage Counseling. Let's dive in. Marriage counseling. What is it all about? Now, marriage counseling is also known as couples therapy, okay? Also known as a therapy, a treatment that doesn't use drugs. That's the meaning of a therapy. Treatment that doesn't need drugs through guided conversation that helps couples. It can be premarital, that is before they are married, or during the marriage process, or even if they are preparing to separate. So marriage counseling is also known as couples therapy, also known as a treatment for couples. Now, it helps couples identify and resolve conflicts in order to improve their relationship. Now, this marriage counseling helps couples. They identify, it means they point out and they resolve those conflicts, the differences they have that will help them to improve their relationship. The rationale behind this is to provide a safe, neutral, and conducive environment where the couples can express their thoughts and feeling with the guidance of a trained professional. So what is it all about? It is marriage counseling is that these couples, they leave their normal setting. They are not in their normal environment. They go to a conducive environment that is neutral from where they know or where they have been using, and where they are free to express their thoughts without fear of anything, express their feeling, and they are under the guidance of a trained professional who is, of course, a marriage counselor. Now, marriage counseling is not about winning arguments. In marriage counseling, we are not helping the couples to say, okay, you won or you won. No, it is not about winning arguments. Okay, let's look at the definition of some terms. Marriage is a contract where spouses agree to a set of state-governed or traditional rights and responsibility. As the communities are different, so marriages are different. Now, marriage is a contract where the spouses, they agree. It can either be what the state has laid down or what the tradition has laid down. And each person knows their right and they know their responsibility. Socially, marriage is a foundational institution that creates kinship bonds between people. Two people come together and they are bonded. They form a family. They become the foundation to start something. Religious and spiritual, marriage is a sacred covenant. It is a sacred covenant. It is sacred. It is holy. It is sanctified. Counseling is a process where a trained professional helps an individual, couple, or family in a safe, confidential, and supportive environment. It means counseling. Now, when we talk of counseling, we talk of this process where a trained professional helps an individual. It can be an individual or a couple or even a family, helping them to resolve this conflict. We had said it before. We point out this conflict, identify them, and resolve them in a safe, confidential, and supportive environment. Okay? Now, why do couples seek counseling? Why do they seek counseling? What is the importance? When they have been married, why do they seek counseling? Couples may seek counseling for the following reasons. There are many reasons. We have listed some. One could be that there is a breakdown in communication. They no longer communicate as they used to be, as they used to do. They no more speak to each other. They no more understand each other. So there could be a breakdown in their communication. And so with this, they need to seek counseling to find out, to identify what is the problem, to identify what is not working so that they can be able to put it in order. They could also seek counseling because of lack of trust. Suddenly, maybe distrust has come in between the couple, between the man and the wife, or between the fiancé and the fiancée. Now, the distrust has crept in between them. Maybe something got missing and things keep getting missing in the house. And suddenly one person does not trust another person. One person is always searching the other person's phone. And these are always potential grounds for conflict. And so in this situation, they could go ahead and seek for counseling. Or one person doesn't believe again what the other person says because of something that happened. And so the other person lost the trust in the other person. It could also be because of lack of sexual intimacy. They don't have the urge for each other anymore. When they just came together, they always had that urge, but now they don't have it anymore. Even when they are in the room, the other one doesn't feel like there's a partner lying by their side. So they could go for counseling. It could also be because of financial problems. Now, there's a mismanagement of finance, or this other person is not true about finances, or this person is not sure about how this person uses the finance, no matter what he said. And so what happens? They could go on for counseling. Okay, so the next thing they could go on for counseling is parenting conflicts. Maybe this father or the mother, the husband or the wife is having conflicts. When the wife disciplines the children, or the husband disciplines the children, or the wife talks to them, they keep having conflicts over that. And so what will be the reason? The simple reason will be for them to seek counseling. Also, in intolerance. They are not able to tolerate each other anymore. This one is talking, this one is shouting, as this one sees this one coming in. And so that will be a fertile ground for them to seek counseling. They could also be considering separation or divorce. Maybe because of the events they have been through, the things that have happened to them, they could also consider going for counseling before the separation or before the divorce. There could also be cases of unwanted pregnancies. They have already had this number of children, or they went into family planning, and then somewhere along the line, maybe they missed an arrangement, and then a pregnancy came that they did not want at that instant. So at this time, they can go for counseling because this is a potential ground for conflicts. All right. There are several models of couples therapy, several different therapies that are used to solve or to help couples. There are several different models. We will be looking at 4 of them in this lesson. We'll be looking at 4 of them. Number 1 is the Gottman method. Okay. Number 2 is the emotionally focused therapy, also known as EFT. We also have the Imago relationship therapy. Then we have the cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. We'll look at each of them in details. Let's begin with Gottman method. This therapy emphasizes a foundation of friendship. The aim of it is to provide couples with practical tools and skills to build a stronger, more resilient partnership. This method is based on decades of research by John and Julie Gottman. They identified the factors that lead to relationship success and failure. And they said these are called a destructive pattern, also known as the 4 horsemen. You have criticism, you have contempt, you have defensiveness, and you have stonewalling. And so this Julie and John Gottman, they identified after several years of research, that's what they identified. And so what did they say? They said these couples are often given exercises to practice at home, such as creating a love map by asking each other open-ended questions. So we say this therapy emphasizes a foundation of friendship. The aim, it provides couple with practical tools and skills to build a stronger and more resilient partnership. So the aim is to help them communicate better. The aim is to help them be more intimate together and to have mutual support for each other. That is the focus of this theory. Then we have the emotionally focused therapy. The emotionally focused therapy is a humanistic evidence-based psychotherapy that uses attachment theory to help individuals, couples, and families improve connection and resolve emotional issues. It's also known as emotional coaching. Now, what does it do? It helps create, identify, and process, and even transforms the emotions. And so, what does it do? It involves identifying those negative interaction cycles, those things that bring about the negativity. It helps clients assess, express, and transform their emotional responses. And so that's what we are saying. Emotionally focused therapy. What does it do? It's kind of emotional coaching. It coaches the emotion. It works on the emotion to transform it from being negative, identify, and it process, and then it transforms this emotion, identifies what is that bad emotion, what is that thing. It helps, it processes, and then what does it do? It transforms it. Then we have the imago relationship therapy. Okay, this is established by Harvey Hendricks and Helen Lakely Hunt. Okay, so it is a form of couples counseling that uses a structured dialogue process to help partners communicate, reduce conflicts, and increase understanding. It's a kind of a form of couples counseling. It uses a structured dialogue process to help dialogue, discussion, to help partners communicate. Okay, when they communicate, what do? They reduce conflict and then they increase understanding. So it shifts the conflict from a source of hurt to an opportunity for healing and growing. So this conflict, which before, prior to this, was hurting the couples, now becomes an opportunity for them to heal and grow. Okay, it improves communication. This theory helps in improving communication. And then it fosters empathy. You putting yourself in the place of the other. The husband putting himself in the place of the wife putting herself in the place of the husband. And so it fosters empathy. And the last of the therapies is a cognitive behavioral therapy. This is a type of psychotherapy that helps individuals change negative thought and behavior patterns to improve mental and emotional well-being. This is a type of psychotherapy that helps individuals they change their negative thoughts and their behavior patterns to improve their mental and their emotional well-being. The focus is on current issues rather than dwelling on the past. And so the cognitive behavioral therapy helps to focus on the current. What is causing this conflict now? Not what happened yesterday, not what has been happening. What is the current problem? And so it can be handled. It handles a wide range of conditions, including depression, anxiety, eating disorder, etc. So these are the 4 therapies we have looked at. Now, I want us to note this. I want you to note this. There is no single best theory for couples or best therapy for couples counseling, as different approaches work for different couples. So what are we saying? The couples are different. So you cannot say, oh, the Gottman method is the best. You can't say the emotionally focused is the best. You can't say cognitive is the best. But different ones, the different therapies work for different couples, just as we are different, just as couples are different. They will have different situations. So they are different. So the different therapies will be different for different couples. So based on what you are handling, based on what a couple is going through, a different therapy may go for them, and for another couple, that same therapy may not work. So, however, we must note that the emotionally focused therapy and the Gottman method are the 2 most researched and effective. They have been researched over and over again, and they are proven to be more effective. Okay, I want to look at this assignment, and you think over it and you ponder on it and see what you will handle, and go back, do research also, and see what you put down. If a couple who are constantly suspecting each other of cheating came to see you as a therapist, which therapy or therapist would you use? Which therapy or therapist would you use? Okay, as we come to the end of this lesson, let us run through. Marriage counseling helps couples to identify and resolve conflict. Don't forget, we are talking about marriage counseling. And so, what does it do? It helps couples to identify and resolve conflict. That is the basis. Whether premarital or whether they're already married or they are considering separation, it helps couples to identify, to point out, to single out what is causing the conflict or the conflict, and then do what? It resolves it. The couples may seek counseling for the following reasons. Maybe there may be breakdown in communication. There could be lack of trust among them. There could be lack of sexual intimacy, financial problems. There could be parenting conflicts. There could be intolerance. There could be considering separation or divorce, unwanted pregnancies, etc. These are all reasons. These are all reasons why couples would come forth to seek for counseling. Again, there are several therapies used for counseling couples. In this lesson, we have seen the Gottman method that was developed by John and Julie Gottman, and we said it identifies factors that lead to relative success and failures. So it is able to bring out these factors, it's able to single out these factors and then to correct them. So through communication, intimacy, and others. We also saw the emotionally focused therapy, which is also known as emotional coaching. The aim is to help identify, process, and transform the emotion. The Imago theory developed by Hanville Hendricks and Helen Lakely Hunt. Okay, we saw that. That's able to help to change the conflict into a healing and growth process. Instead of the conflict hurting, it becomes a situation where it heals and brings growth. And then we find the cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay, that is what we saw for this lesson. Thank you so much for listening, and God bless you. I see you in the next lesson.